Well, how you doing? My name's Dan,
I'm Ryan.
and this is Bourbon Sauce. This week we've got Adam Corbin with us, as y'all might know him as the YeeHaw Yankee. Adam, thank you for joining us today. What you got going on today? You got a show coming up, huh?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. Yeah, I got a show down Broadway today. I play downtown a lot with a couple different people. I played bass for this guy Kyle Elliott, and I played bass for another group called Shane Rivers Band. We go down. We play what's known as the Tequila Cowboy circuit. So it's like Tequila Cowboy, Jason Aldean's, Luke Bryan's, Morgan Wallen's, Laney Wilson's, and Miranda Lambert, Casa Rosa. And I just get rotated through all those. And just go all over the place.
That's got to keep you real busy.
Yeah, it does. I play probably about 4 or 5 shows a week. And it's just nonstop. They're 4-hour shifts.
Oh,
And
damn.
you play for 4 hours straight. It's great. You play anything from whatever you want to play to whatever the people in the crowd want to hear. And sometimes you get some shit that you're like, what the hell? What kind of song are you talking about? What do you want?
Yeah, really.
Just tell me what you want.
Do you like playing other people's stuff more than your own stuff, or is it kind of like a balance between those two things?
There's always a balance between it. I mean, you ask any artist, they always like playing their own stuff more than, playing the same Garth Brooks song, 20 times in a day.
Yeah.
But, that's always nice. Some people will ask for originals every now and again downtown, which is like usually what we like to hear. We want that. That's what we want. But no one ever really does ask for them.
Right.
It's
I mean,
like that one guy who's heard Friends in Low Places 12 times today. He's like, I'm done with that.
I literally was just about to say, you're in a bar, friends in low places. That seems like the go-to.
Well, yeah. No.
Yeah, exactly. Especially his bars are open too.
I was gonna say, I bet they get tired of hearing that establishment. They're like, all right, let's hear something else.
Get it. Oh yeah, I can only imagine the bartenders. They're probably rolling their eyes.
Yeah.
But it's sad because I can literally sit right here, not having actually heard that song in probably over a year, and sing 90% of that song right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I forgot to ask you, what you're drinking?
Okay, so I fucked up and I didn't get to the liquor store. But I got beer,
Nice.
so I'm going with beer today.
Was that an IPA? What is that?
No, it's a Golden Road Brewing, the Mango Cart Wheat Ale.
Oh, nice. I think I've had that at Van Elrod's.
Yeah, they got it over there.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
pretty
in fact,
tasty.
I gotta open it. I was drinking some coffee before too.
Oh, I caught the New York accent there for a second.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's so we decided, being a New Yorker yourself, 10th Mountain has a whiskey, and they're based out of New York. But this company is out of Colorado, where the other part of 10th Mountain's at. And so
Okay. I like that.
one of our good friends, Brian Duor, is one of their executives up there, director level, and so we interviewed him, and he sent us out a bunch of their products, and we got to try it out with him.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, well, my hometown in New York it's Warwick, New York, and 12 different apple orchards, and they all have their own distillery now. And bourbons and whiskeys right out of my hometown like crazy, and I've never seen it like that before.
Yeah, these micro distilleries are kind of like blowing up all over the place. You know what I mean? Like it's the rave right now. It's like when microbreweries were a big thing for a long time, and now you have these micro distilleries that are showing up, and you have all these different like small brands that are emerging. We're gonna get into that at some point.
Oh yeah, especially the microbreweries. When the microbrewery thing happened, man, they just ruined beer.
Yeah.
I mean, you ever see that there's like that one comedian on there? He's always just like, these breweries, they know we have to say the name of the beer.
Yeah.
And then you go up to the counter and you're like, let me get a little blonde girl.
Right.
And they're saying, oh, you want a 12 or a 16? They're like, ugh.
Yeah.
You have an 18 at least?
Right, yeah.
You have an 18.
20 ounce? You got a 20? You got a 20 ouncer or something?
You got 20? I'll 21's good too.
Yeah, it's like the marketing, they must not really, maybe they did think it through. I don't know. Maybe they're a bunch of perverts.
I guess, hey, well, I mean.
Well, I mean, you do. There is one out there. What is it? Dickon Cider?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's in Dixon,
Yeah.
there's Dixon Donuts. My kid laughs his ass off every time we drive by that place. He goes, ha, Dixon Donuts.
That's fucking hilarious.
So,
Holy shit!
yeah.
Where the hell is that up by you guys?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's out here. So it's like between here in Cumberland Furnace and Nashville, Ashland City. Realistically, it's
Okay.
more in that area, but
I mean, it's literally spelled Dixon Donuts,
yeah,
but nobody ever puts the space there, so it's Dixon Donuts.
yeah, just sounds funny.
That's
It's a good time.
awesome.
So you grew up in New York, and then you were
Yep.
a bit of an athlete as well as a musician, right?
Yeah, I played baseball my entire life, and that was the first dream was to be a baseball player. I wanted to play shortstop for the New York Yankees. That was me.
Big Yankees
But
fan.
my
Nice.
name wasn't. Yeah, but my name wasn't Jorge or Jose, so my coach said, "Hey, you might want to try pitching."
Yeah.
And I said, "Okay, cool." So I went and tried pitching, and ended up going to West Virginia University. I was trying out for the team there, and I only stayed at West Virginia for like a year because it's West Virginia University. If
Yeah.
anyone knows West Virginia,
Yeah,
it's a party school.
for sure.
And yeah, I think my BAC was higher than my GPA most of the time. And
I
so
can
I
relate.
went back home I went back home to New York and played a lot of JUCO ball in college, and then went and coached college in the Bronx with a buddy of mine, and ended up coaching for this baseball academy out of New Jersey, Joe Torre Baseball Academy.
Nice.
And we went all over the place. We went down and we played with the Orioles scout team down in Miami, and I was able to play. That was the coolest part. Was that and I remember pitching against this kid. I didn't know he was a kid at the time. He looked like a grown fucking man. And I started talking to him. He's got red hair and he's pale skin. I thought he was Irish. I'm like, "Oh, you Irish?" And he started speaking in Spanish. And he's like, "Oh, no, I'm Venezuelan." I was like, "What the fuck?" I've never seen a pale fucking ginger Venezuelan. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, "How old's that kid?" And he's 16. I'm like, how the hell is this kid 16?
Yeah.
And he's hitting bombs off of me. I'm like, "Good God." I'm like, could you imagine? Because I learned also in Venezuela and like all those other countries, they have what's called baseball school. They don't go to school.
Oh,
They
okay.
go to baseball school. So they learn how to read and write and do like basic math. And then the rest of the day is all baseball every day. And that's because that's their ticket out of there is to play baseball.
That's awesome.
So yeah, so they come to America and they know how to read and write a little bit, and they know how 2 + 2, and then they know how to hit a baseball.
Yeah. I mean, just the basics. As long as you're good at
That's it.
baseball,
That's
who
all you
cares?
got.
You're going to be a millionaire.
I know that's what we should do here. Why do I got to know the Pythagorean theorem in order if I want to play baseball? I haven't used that shit since high school.
Well, it might help if you're trying to figure out the trajectory and how far your baseball went after you hit it. But
Yeah, I hit the ball, it goes far. I mean,
That's what they got cameras for and
Yeah.
analysts for now. So
yeah, all the
it's-
nerds do that work now. They got-
exactly. They got the nerds. I'm not a nerd. my brother's the nerd. My brother's in California.
Yeah.
He's the nerd.
So you got a
Yeah, I
brother
love
in California.
him to death.
You got any other siblings?
Yep. No, I just got my one brother. He's 6'5", and he sits on a computer and works all day.
A waste of
And I said,
fucking
Brian,
6'5", man. He should be doing something like hockey, basketball, baseball. That's like God's gift to give you that height and then not use it for anything. Like a pitcher, 6'5" as a pitcher. God damn.
He plays. That's what I'm saying. It's like if I was 6'5", I wouldn't be singing Morgan Wallen for 6 hours a day on Broadway.
Yeah.
I would. I hate. That's a hot take. I don't like Morgan Wallen at all. I hate the guy.
Really? Were you down there when he threw the
Yeah.
chair off the top of that building?
I mean, I wasn't on Broadway, but
Yeah.
I was in town.
Yeah.
It was a PR stunt from what everyone's been telling us.
That's kind of what we're all thinking, as fans, just kind of like it was the timing of everything, just seemed like
It was too perfect.
Yeah, it really was. And it's like he was in and out. It wasn't like he had jail time or anything crazy came of it, At least nobody had heard anything.
No.
So.
No, they would never put him in jail. Never.
Right.
Because of the money that he brings to the city. He had 3 shows in Nashville that weekend. He sold out all 3.
Yeah.
That's $1 billion in tourist revenue.
Yeah.
So it's like, why you can't put that guy in jail?
Right. Yeah.
It sucks, but I mean, yeah, what are you gonna do?
So I remember Ryan, you correct me if I'm wrong. His song was mentioned on the CMAs at one point.
2022, I believe, Peyton Manning.
Yeah, and you're a Vols fan, so
Yeah.
that's why he knows that fact.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah,
I mean, my all-time favorite quarterback was backing the song, so.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
good. So that's a pretty big statement for you to be mentioned on the CMAs by a Hall of Fame quarterback with Luke Bryan standing next to him. Did you get any extra publicity from that?
Well, here's the funny thing. That's not a real video from the CMA Awards.
Oh, no?
No, that's an edited video. So the song was actually Rocky Top. The song was Rocky Top. And it was actually being played.
See, that's why I guess when I seen that like multiple times, I'm like, I don't remember seeing this in the CMAs. I'm like, but Peyton Manning's saying it's his, so
that
must be right. Yeah,
that's hilarious.
That's pretty legit.
That's what it was. I texted my social media guy Gavin, and I said, "Hey, dude, for some reason I feel like my song Best Kind of Wrong would fit perfect with this like segment that I did at the CMAs. Can you like edit my song in and Rocky Top out?" He's like, "Oh, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard." Yeah, sure, let's go for it. And I posted it, and it got like 11,000 views in like 2 hours.
Yeah.
And I was just like, sweet, this is great. I was like, I told you it would work, motherfucker.
Dude, I thought it was a legit thing. So
I did too, but I was like, it's like, I know I saw CMAs in 2022. I'm like, and I swear I remember this scene. And I'm like,
I'm glad y'all thought it was real.
I mean, like in my head, I'm like, I have consumed alcohol since then.
Right.
We're talking 2 years later. I'm like, I guess this is legit. Okay.
That's great. Yeah, no, that makes me happy to hear that everyone thought it was real.
Yeah, so that's going to be the goal for you, though. You know what I mean? Like someday you will be on the CMAs and maybe standing next to Luke Bryan at that point. Hell, who knows what he'll be? I mean, shit, it could be Jelly Roll. It could be fucking anybody at that point.
Fucking Jelly Roll, man. That guy, he's a cool story. Don't get me wrong. Love the story. I just don't think the guy can sing, really, to be honest. But that's just me.
Yeah.
You know, whenever someone requests Jelly Roll on Broadway, you know, us as entertainers, we kind of just like roll our eyes a little bit because like his songs they're not really like coverable in a way. They're very tough to cover because there's a lot going on, you know, with because he used to be a rapper.
Yep.
Right.
And because he's from like the Nashville area, you know, I had a few friends that like knew him in high school and stuff like that. And yeah, it's just tough. His music's tough to cover, and like it's just not for a lot of people. Like a lot of people, we can't pull it off. I mean,
he's got
Jelly Roll's the only one that can Jelly Roll.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he's got a very unique, I guess, vocal range, if you want to call it that. And it's like tempo and everything else.
The tempo is what gets a lot of us too, is because he's like rapping basically. He's doing the rapping, singing, and it's not easy. Yeah, it's kind of like Morgan kind of does that too sometimes.
Yeah, you'd have to come up with your own version and basically make a remix of his to fit your style, I guess.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And at that point, it's like you're rewriting a whole damn song.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like doing with Son of the Sun.
So then you might as well just play an original.
Exactly. You might as well play something that no one knows because they don't even know what the fuck you're singing anyway.
So next time somebody requests Jelly Roll, just play an original.
Right.
That's usually what I do. Yep. I'm like, how about this one?
So when did you leave New York to come to Nashville?
I left New York August 10th, 2015. A week before that, I was working construction with my dad. My dad's a musician too. He's a singer-songwriter, and he was a contractor. And working with him, and I had a friend of mine, Allie Startup. She's not here in Nashville anymore. She's back in New York now. She calls me up and she goes, "What are you doing in New York?" And I was like, "I don't know. I'm just working, fishing, drinking, hunting, playing shows on the weekend every now and again with my dad and his band." And she's like, "Well, you should just come to Nashville and try to do it here." And I was like, "All right, why not?" So I loaded up my truck with a bed, a love seat, one suitcase, my 5 guitars, my dog, his dog bed, and hopes and dreams. and I left New York, and I was driving down the interstate, and I was on Craigslist looking for a place to live in Nashville. I was driving to Nashville, found this townhouse over by the airport, and got a hold of the lady and wired her some money from my phone and just hoped that she was there when I got there.
Right. Hope it wasn't a scam.
Yeah, and she was there when I got there. So I was there, and then I've been here ever since, and it's been a journey because I didn't know if I was going to have to end up back home or what, man. I mean, it was scary at first because I didn't have a job or nothing. I didn't have a plan. I just kind of just showed up, and I was like, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
You know, because God forbid, I was tired of waking up at 4:30 in the morning every day. You know, now I'm up till 4 in the morning every day instead. And then I wake up at 2 or whatever. You know, it's great.
Yeah.
But, you know, it was definitely a culture shock too, because I'd never even seen Nashville. I didn't really watch CMA Awards, so I didn't really know much about country music either moving down here. You know, I grew up on rock and roll. I grew up on Bruce Springsteen, the Beatles, Bob Dylan, Bob Seger. You know, so I got here, and like I knew like the mainstream stuff, like Luke Bryan, Tim McGraw, you know, Florida Georgia Line at the time. You know, I knew all that, but that was really all I really knew. And then I just kind of learned more and more, like more artists, more songs, all this kind of stuff. The Nashville number system when it comes to playing on the fly, basically.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, hey, you want to play? And I'm like, yeah, sure. They're like, all right, it's starts on the 1, then goes to the 6, then goes to the 7, then goes to the 3 and the 5. And I'm like, the hell are you talking about, dude? You know, like, you just yell out notes. They're like, no, this is the number system, man. I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'll figure this out. So like, I'm in the middle of playing the show, and I'm like, okay, this is the 1, this is the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way. It just scales when it comes down to it.
Okay.
But it was just, it was definitely weird. I didn't expect Nashville to be a city like it is either.
Yeah.
I expected it to be a little bit more rural, I guess. I don't know why. Probably because I come from a rural place, and I didn't really like New York City. You know, I went to New York City a lot, but didn't really like it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm more of a country setting type person. That's why I live where I'm at.
Was
my
you
house
expecting
here,
some stockyards and fences and cattle?
Kind of. I didn't realize I'd have to drive all the way out to Ashland City or Franklin or any of that shit to go see that.
Yeah.
Or go up to Cummins Falls, which is one of the weirdest named waterfalls I've ever heard of in my life.
It's kind of hilarious when you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, what, the waterfalls come and give me, holy shit.
Right. It's a gusher, if you know.
It's like my ex-wife.
So this numbering system you mentioned, can you go into that a little bit? Like,
yeah, so the number system, national number system, it's something that they just like, I guess they trademark, copyright, or trademarked it, whatever the hell. Someone said, okay, I'm just going to yell out a key of the song. So the key's in, say, G, right? And so they want you to play the 1. The 1's going to be the 1 of the G scale, the first note of the G scale, which is going to be the G. And then the 2's the A, the 3's the B, the 4's the C, the 5's the D. You know, and then they'll just yell out like, okay, it's 1, 5, 4, 6, you know, 1.
Okay.
Or something like that. So you just got to know the scale, really.
So it's
what it comes down to.
So they're testing you to know if you know your shit, basically.
Basically, I mean, I lucked out, and my major in college was also music.
Okay.
And so, I played tuba. that was my main instrument, was playing tuba. I played in my dad's rock and roll band on tuba.
That's
for
hilarious.
like 7 years. Yeah, we were a tribute band for the band.
I was gonna say like Mighty Boss Tones or something, you know, thinking like having how they have the brass in the background.
Oh, we had a full horn section, dude. It was awesome, and we were called the band.
Yeah.
We were a tribute band for the band from back in the 70s. It was Bob Dylan's original band.
That's cool.
Until he went acoustic. And then it was like Robbie Robertson, Levon Helm, Rick Danko, Garth Hudson, Richard Manuel, and love those guys. I love that band. They're the ones that wrote The Weight, for anybody who doesn't know. You know, it's Take a Load Off Fanny, Take a Load for Free, that one. And yeah, and I did that from how old was I? I was 16 when I started playing with him on that band. And I only got to play one song, and it was Rag Mama Rag, because it was the tuba song, the song with the tuba playing the bass. And then after that, we ended up getting Levon Helm's horn section to come and play with us from like full time, basically. Eric Lawrence and Steve Bernstein on saxophone and trumpet. And from them, I learned, they gave me all the sheet music and stuff like that that I had to read. Luckily, I knew how to read sheet music because I've been playing music since I was, 7, 6, something like that.
Okay.
Started on piano. And yeah, and then it just progressed more and more. We went all over the country, anywhere from New York up to Maine, out to Vegas, Chicago, God, everywhere. We were all over the place. We did like a full-on touring. It was great. In a 16-person passenger
Like the
van.
Partridge Family.
Yeah, except there were 10 of us. We had everybody. We had Larry Packard, which was the fiddle player at the last waltz for the band. He played with us too.
Nice.
Yeah, and we had a blast. It was awesome. I'm very lucky to be able to play with my dad. I still get to play with him. He lives in Georgia now, only 3 hours away. He just moved like last week.
Nice.
Out of New York. He got the fuck out of New York as quick as he could.
The taxes will kill you up there, man.
It's not even that. It's everything else that's going on up there. But we don't have to talk about.
Yeah, we don't want to get into that.
So who would you say? Who would you say are some of your bigger inspirations as far as what you bring to your type of music? Some of your.
I would say Bruce Springsteen is probably my biggest inspiration. The way that he was able to, because if you listen to Bruce Springsteen a lot, like I do, you hear like there are like a lot of country aspects in his stuff. It's more like what he calls rockabilly.
Mm-hmm.
And rockabilly is just like this genre that I feel like just gets forgotten about because it's just a combination of that rock and roll and that country aspect, which I feel like is coming back now, but no one really knows what to call it. So they're calling it Americana folk.
Oh, okay. It's not. Yeah.
You get a guy like Zach Bryan who's rockabilly, but he's like Mumford & Sons on steroids, basically.
Right.
And then you get a band like Red Clay Strays who's rockabilly, in my opinion. They got like that Allman Brothers feel to them.
Uh-huh.
But then you get but the singer's got an Elvis tone to him. So it's kind of cool in that way. That's like the combination right there that I kind of go for. I've got an EP that we just finished.
Okay.
It's a 4-song EP. It's in mixing and mastering right now, so it's going to take a minute because that process takes a while. Like the recording process alone took us a year and a half.
Oh wow!
So just for 4 songs, because what me and my guys do differently than what most Nashville musicians do is we brought my whole band into the studio, and we did everything part for part. What my guys play live. What parts they wrote, and I give them credits and everything. Whereas, other Nashville musicians, they'll send like a little voice memo or what they call a work tape to a producer. And the producer will either bring in outside musicians, or if he's versatile enough, he'll just record all the parts himself and he'll come up with parts on the spot. Or, there's like Nashville standard parts that every guitar player knows, every bass player knows, every drummer knows, and he'll just play them all. And then he'll send you what he recorded. And then he says, okay, what do you think of this? And is that the feel you were going for? And you say, yes, no, maybe change this, maybe change that. Here's the melody that I want you to play on the electric. And then he'll send you that. He's like, all right, cool. Use this to practice singing to it, and then come in and sing your vocals. And then I'll have it to you in like a week or whatever. And that's how these musicians pump out songs so fast too, is because it's a quick turnaround process. It's not what it used to be where the band would go into the studio for months at a time to record an album. It's not like that anymore.
Okay.
But I was very just adamant on being a part of the whole process, being there for everyone recording their parts, because it's really cool because you're in there and you're like, oh, it would sound really cool right here is if you did this. I had a slide guy come in Dan Wecht, and I was just like, for my song Real Good that's out. And we were trying to figure out a slide part for a solo. And he jokingly just started playing Freebird. And I was just like, no, do something just like that. That sounds really cool. And so if you hear in Real Good, the first part of the solo almost sounds Freebird-esque.
Yeah.
It's because I told him, I was like, play it like Freebird. Yeah. And that's, yeah. And that's like that country rockabilly thing I was talking about. Well, yeah, it's cool. And then we just recorded another single too. We're going to put that out before the EP. Yeah, we did that in one day because it's very broken down. It's just acoustic and electric and a little bit of piano and stuff like that.
So rockabilly's making a comeback.
It is, and
You sent me a sample of the breaking down the walls song.
Yeah, that's the one that we're going to be putting out. Yeah.
So I'm going to play a little sample so Ryan can hear it too, if you don't mind.
Yeah, play a little bit. Yeah, go right ahead.
My life is changing, and I feel like there was something I should have been. My heart, it takes me there, my mind slowly pulls me back, and then breaking down the walls again.
So I really like how that that melody you start doing there, where you're bringing your other.
Yeah.
There's multiple people singing that. It's not obviously not just you by yourself.
No, that's all me. It's called overdubbing.
Oh, okay.
Is what it's called.
I wasn't sure because you said you bring your whole band in for some of these songs, and so
Yeah, no, that was all just me and my producer sitting in his studio. Joe Passarelli is his name, and we were sitting in the studio. He said, text me one day. He's like, man, I really want to put out something in between what we did with Real Good a year ago and this EP while it's being finished up.
okay.
Like, you have like an acoustic song that we can do. I was like, yeah, I got a few of them. So I sent them like 4 or 5 different acoustic songs that I had, just like ones that would just be acoustic. And he picked one, and I was like, cool, let's do it. And so I went in there like a few days later. We grinded for 6 hours, recording guitars and vocals, and then he sent it off to a piano player that he knows in Pittsburgh. Yeah, he's like, cool. Once we get this back, we'll get it mixed, mastered, and then we can start doing content, which is the worst part about being a musician ever.
Yeah.
We fucking hate doing content more than anything. Dude.
Right. Yeah.
It's the dumbest shit ever. Like, you gotta look into your phone and just be like, have you ever been depressed? I might have written a song for you. And then start fucking playing the song. Did I just write the song of the summer? Like, how many songs of the summer do we have to fucking have?
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus Christ, dude. It's insane. I mean, I was scrolling on TikTok, and every little reel, did I just write the song of the summer? This is the song of the summer. Hey, it's a summer song. I was like, dude, and it's all the same song. I've got another song I'm working on. One of the lines is all the same songs, all the same stories. All you songwriters are so damn boring.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm so tired of it. Yeah.
There was someone else I was listening to the other day, and they had a song. It was similar to that, and they were kind of hitting on the fact that, there's so much unoriginality going on in the music industry right now.
I mean, that's the movie industry too.
Well, yeah. It's kind of sad. It's like the creativity bug has left a lot of people, and they're just like, well, let me just take this person's whatever they've got, and I'll just put my little tiny spin on it. But it's the same fucking, like you said, same fucking song, same story, same chords, same chorus. Mm-hmm. And you're like, there's no originality here.
There's none.
I mean, I feel like it's kind of inevitable, though. At a certain point, you're going to repeat the same stuff.
Well, I mean, I think they've said almost every chord that can be made is already out there.
Yeah, well, it's like 47 Ronin, for example, with Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
Okay, if you go back and you look, there's about, if I counted correctly, and then I stopped counting, there's at least 9 other variants of that movie, just named differently.
Oh, yeah.
But it's all the same premise of the story, and it's just tweaking this or tweaking that. But yeah, I was doing a lot of researching on it, and that's just the thing. Is it's the creating a new story is dang near impossible because it's already been created, or there is some variant that you're just going to be a smidge different than.
Yeah, and I think that that's like Hollywood, where they notice what's a good box office hit. They're like, "Whoa, we already know people love this."
Oh, forget it. Yeah.
So then they just keep regurgitating it,
forget
and you're
it.
like, "Oh my god, can you stop already?" Like, how many fucking Saw movies do we need to fucking see?
Sure.
Or, you know what I mean? Like, I'm
How many
over it.
Sharknadoes do we need?
I mean, they're they're making a new Gremlins movie.
That one might be all right because now
I
with
saw that.
now with CGI and stuff, it might be a little bit more believable. Where
I don't
the
know.
old Gremlins, you're just like, you could tell they're puppets, and it was kind of corny when you look at.
Oh yeah.
I mean, as a kid, you're like terrified, but as an adult watching it now, I'm like, God, how would I even believe that was real?
it's like Sharknado.
Yeah, but see, that's one thing I've noticed too. Is like what we thought was like great graphics on the original Xbox with Halo is complete trash now.
Mhm.
But when that's top tier at the time, it's like you don't know no better.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
So now as things have progressed, it's like you listen back and it's like, I thought this was okay. Now I think it's great, or I thought this was great. Now it's okay. Like it's like old school country, right? Kind of just fell off and got overran by this hip hop country.
Oh, the hick hop.
The hick hop,
The
whatever
bro
you want to
country.
call it, right? It got steamrolled, right? But now you start hearing more and more artists like Sturgill Simpson and some of these
Well,
other
sure.
guys where they're bringing that old style, like Cody Jinks, they're bringing that old style country back
Mhm.
and making it more prevalent again.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to your EP when it drops.
It's
Do you have a date that you guys are gonna shoot
it's
for?
It's like Zach Top. Zach Top just came out and he's just taken the world by storm. As far as dates for the EP, don't have a date yet. I'm waiting for it to be finished before I release a date. Oh, because last thing I need is to say it's going to be out one day,
Right.
and then it's not. That's
Okay.
the last thing I need. So I'm waiting for it to. The way that I'm looking at it is, if I get this single out in a month, I want to ride that single for at least 6 weeks, if not longer, maybe 2 months, before I release a date, and then from there, hopefully another 2 months after that. So maybe end of fall, beginning of winter.
Okay.
Is usually, it's a different time to be releasing an EP album, but it's also not a bad time because no one else is really going to be releasing anything, because summertime and springtime is when everyone's releasing everything.
Yeah.
I mean, how many Zach Bryan albums did we get this year? 2 in the past 6 months.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, he had the Zach Bryan album, and now he just put out this one.
I think it's a good idea also to do in the fall, which I don't know why more artists don't do that, because then you're around like campfires and stuff like that. I think
because then once you put it out, you have to tour on it. That's the thing, and because you can't just put it out and then just let it sit there. And touring season is usually from, it starts in the spring and ends at mid to end of fall.
that makes sense then.
Gotcha.
Because you're on the road for three weeks at a time. You're getting home for a few days, and then you're back on the road for 3 weeks. Yeah, it's taxing. So once you put out an album, you kind of have, especially when you get to one of those big names like say a Luke Bryan or whatever, back when he was putting out albums and better music, he would have to put it out and then go out on the road and play it all.
Yeah.
And you're not going to do that in December. You can't go. You're not going to go to New York in December. It's fucking 25 degrees.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Fuck that. Who wants to do that?
So big things come for you on the horizon. EP drop. You've got the single that's going to come out first. Do you have any big shows that you have coming up in the next couple weeks or months that people should know about, where they can find you?
Well, I've got Whiskey Jam coming up. I'm playing another Whiskey Jam on August 12th. That's going to be our biggest showcase right now. That's all original music. That's a good thing about Whiskey Jam. The guy Ward that runs it, he's been running it for what has it been, 15 years now, almost, I think. Um, and he's had everybody on there, everyone from Chris Stapleton, Luke Combs, Morgan Wallen, Bailey Zimmerman. Everybody's played this thing. I've had the pleasure of playing probably close to 80 or 85 of them between being the lead guy and a bassist for a bunch of other people. And it's one of my favorite shows to play. I love it. It's over at Whiskey Row on Broadway on the second floor now.
Nice.
It's on Mondays and Thursdays from, I think it's, 8:19 to about 11 o'clock. This one's a Monday that I'm playing on the 12th. We don't know our slot yet because he tells us a couple days before, kind of just like randomizes it and stuff like that. So everyone gets a shot at opening, closing, playing in the middle, stuff like that. But yeah, and then we're out on the road all over the place. You can find my Instagram, Adam Corbin Music. That's who I use as my website, really. It's a free website. It's great.
Right.
You can type in YeeHaw Yankee on Google, and I pop up. You know, you can, if that's a lot easier to remember because no one really cares who Adam Corbin is yet. So YeeHaw Yankee is the brand I came up with.
Yeah.
I actually came up with it at a Whiskey Jam with my buddy Donnie Van Slee, who was on The Voice this past season.
Oh, nice.
And we were sitting on the rooftop drinking Busch Lights, and I was like, man, I need a brand, dude, because no one knows my name. No one's gonna remember my name right now. When we're sitting there, come up with names. And I said, how about the YeeHaw Cowboy? And he's like, no, that's pretty stupid. I'm just like, yeah, it is pretty stupid. And he's just like, or the Cowboy Yankee or something I came up with. And he's like, how about YeeHaw Yankee? I'm like, that's it right there. And so I texted a graphic designer. I was like, hey, I got this idea, YeeHaw Yankee. What do you think? He's like, I love it. I was like, can you do it like in the Yankee font? I'm like, is that trademark or copyright infringement? He's like, no, they can't trademark a font. Can't copyright a font. I learned. So that's good. That was a good sign that they're not going to sue me.
Yeah.
But that would be pretty cool to get a letter from the Yankees law firm saying, hey, cease and desist. I'd hang that on my wall.
Hell yeah. That'd be something to put on there as a rebel, you know what I mean? As a country music singer, that's something you look for is like, hey, you know.
Oh, yeah. And I'm working on getting more.
Maybe one of these days in the near future, YeeHaw Yankee can throw out the opening pitch at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, how fucking cool would that be, huh?
I would die on the mound. I would be buried under that mound. That would be a dream come true.
So definitely not a Mets fan then.
Or a Boston
No,
fan.
my uncle was. Well, fuck them. Fuck the Sox.
I'm just saying, anybody I've ever met from New York, like, if you're into baseball, you are diehard one or the other.
Oh, you have to be. There's no waffling.
90% of the people I've met are diehard Yankee fans, but then it's like I've met that one or two that are the diehard Mets fans, and it's like, okay, Yankee fan, you're cool and all, but compared to the Mets fan, you suck, because the Mets fan is like to the end. Win, lose, doesn't matter. It's like, we suck a lot, but I'm here for it always.
Yeah. It's a lot.
I know. I saw this interview where someone said, what's the worst part about being a Met fan? And they're like, being a Met fan.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like, it all depends on where you grew up. Because the Mets were all the way out in Queens. Like, that was so fucking far, dude. I mean, it's so much easier to get to the Bronx somehow, some way than it is to get to Queens. I mean, if you were from Long Island or if you were from like that side of the island, then you were a Met fan. If you were anywhere near Manhattan or anywhere near New Jersey, you were a Yankee fan, except for Central Jersey, but that doesn't really exist because Central Jersey is all Philadelphia, basically.
Yeah.
It's fucking weird. That's where it gets to be like that big on the map, and then Philadelphia is like right fucking there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like they just take on the persona of Philadelphia, and it's really fucking annoying.
Yeah, oh yeah. Philadelphia people are, fuck, man. Some of those people are real bastards.
They're the worst, dude. They're worse than Boston people sometimes, I tell you that.
I grew up in Ohio, so I mean, it's a little different where I grew up.
So you don't like the Eagles either?
Oh, they suck, dude. They took Saquon, and I wish they would all just fucking jump off a cliff. Dude, it's so bad. Like, I was like, go anywhere but the Eagles. Anywhere. As I was saying, when Saquon was a free agent, and I was like, I don't even care if we get you back. I was like, I don't want to pay you $17 million. Fuck that. That's insane.
Not to be injured again.
And that, right, exactly. So he's just going to go to Philadelphia. He's going to play 6 games, and I'm going to, laugh and smile because one of my best friends from high school is a Philadelphia fan, and he's been talking about Jalen Hurts and the tush push. I'm like, yeah, I always tell him he wants to be a part of that tush push. But it's funny you say you're from Ohio. I just played up in Cleveland, down at the Flats at Welcome to the Farm, Chase Rice's bar.
Love that area.
And dude, that show that we did was one of the craziest shows we've ever played. It was insane. That bar is packed every weekend, shoulder to shoulder. I mean, it got to a point where I took my shirt off because we were playing Beer Never Broke My Heart. Yeah, we were playing. Well, no, we're playing Beer Never Broke My Heart, and I took a beer and just stone cold stunned and stone cold it. And I said, "Well, shit! Now my Hawk Tua shirt's all it's all wet now." So I had to take it off, and we played right after that. We went into Freebird and Revival, and
Speaking of Hawk Tua, what do you think about that whole fucking debacle? All of a sudden, a girl talks about spitting on a dick, and then she's popular. You got all these other musicians that are struggling their ass off, and they can't get any notoriety. You know what I mean?
That's the pain of being a musician, dude. Like, no one cares about us until you do something viral. The fact that she got she got a management company. And then she makes $30,000 per appearance.
Yeah.
And I'm struggling just to get a free beer.
Right.
These places won't even give us a free beer. I'm gonna say, or pay for our parking. We still gotta pay for our parking. I'm like,
man, you can't even
we're
get
the reason
your
why Nashville is the way that it
It's
is.
fucked up. Hey, we want you to go play at our fucking
can't.
facility, but we're not validating your parking. That's on you, buddy. And it's fucking $40 most of the time to park in those lots down in Nashville. It's fucking ridiculous how much they charge. I thought LA was ridiculous. No, man, Nashville is fucking.
But when I was stationed at Fort Campbell the first time, and I lived in Hopkinsville, and he had a bar downtown Hopkinsville. And ever so often, he'd be like, "Let's go to Nashville," and I'm like, "It's a Wednesday. I've come in for one drink, and I'm going home and going to bed." And he's like, "No, let's go to Nashville. I'll pay for everything." And I'm like, "Oh, fine."
Yeah.
So we'd come down to Nashville on a Wednesday night, bounce bar to bar, and then next thing I know, I'm on the drive home and I'm like, what just happened? He's like, "Oh, I've got so-and-so who's going to be here Friday night and so-and-so going to be here Saturday night." So he would go down and he would poach these artists for the weekends, right? And I'm like, okay, so what did you give him? He's like, dinner, all the beer they could drink, and I covered their $50 Roach Motel. I'm like,
yeah,
that's a deal.
We will do it.
What?
That is a deal.
He's like, I'm like, wait a minute. He's like, yeah, man. I covered the gas up here for that, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, because you know how much it costs out of pocket. Whatever you're getting from, if they don't have a cover charge at the door,
they don't. No,
you don't get any of that money. You know what I mean? You're just basically working for tips from people that are sitting in these rooftop bars, and 90% of them aren't fucking throwing money in to tip the artist. They're just enjoying the free music. So it's a struggle for these artists that are here in Nashville. They're just looking to try to get recognized by some big producer, maybe, or maybe, Luke Bryan or somebody comes in and is like, "I fucking like this dude. Come on tour with me."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you hook your wagon.
I wish that still happened.
Matt Mason was actually one of the first ones that he did that to.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's the hope when you come to Nashville is hey, you have all this opportunity in front of you, but by the way, it's gonna fucking cost you an arm and leg, and hope you're really good at struggling, because this is gonna be a struggle.
Oh, I've spent way more money than I've made since living here. It's it's insane. I mean, hell, I can't tell you how many times I've gotten that bank account overdrawn email. Holy shit. Yeah, because that stuff doesn't have, there's no big time producer walking through the doors anymore.
Yeah,
it's
no,
not that.
That sucks, man.
They all they look for, these record labels now too. Not that you need one. No one really needs a record label anymore with all the stuff that's out there for independent artists to be able to promote themselves. But these record labels will have a team of people in a room scrolling on TikTok, looking for the next viral person, just scrolling. That's how Bailey Zimmerman got found. I mean, he went viral on TikTok. You know, he was a mechanic and he was singing while he was working on trucks.
Yep.
Yeah.
And someone's like, the record label's like, oh, we can make $1 million off of him. You know,
Same with
And,
that dude,
yeah,
Richmond, north of Richmond.
Yep.
That song.
yeah, Oliver Anthony.
Mm-hmm.
Same
Yep.
thing.
And originally he said no to the record labels, but I think he changed his mind recently. So
It probably got
But,
overwhelming
you
trying
know.
to do it all himself. You know what I mean?
well, it's not easy. I mean, I'm my own booking agent. I'm my own content creator. I'm my own promoter. I'm my own marketer. I'm my own graphic designer. You know, we have to be 6 or 7 different jobs while we're just trying to write a fucking song.
Right.
You know, it's not like how it used to be with Queen anymore. You can't be just a good singer with a good song. You can't be Freddie Mercury. Like that helps,
Right.
but it doesn't matter. None of that matters anymore. All they look at is your Spotify numbers and how many followers you have on social media.
Yeah. It's rough.
So that's
man.
why we always that's why we always try to plug ourselves every chance we can. Like it can get annoying and awkward, even for us. It gets annoying. Like, yeah, follow me on Instagram, follow me on TikTok, you know, blah 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 blah. Go, you know,
Tell us about it,
stream
bro.
my songs.
Yeah,
Dude,
it's fucking
yeah,
rough,
you know,
man.
yeah, the podcasters, dude, it's insane. You know, it sometimes it just gets to be too much. Sometimes I'm just like, excuse me. You know, there's always times where you feel like, man, maybe I should just quit this.
Yeah.
But then, like, every time I've ever said that, I'm like, man, maybe I should just like call it, you know. And then there's always been like that one show or that one person, like the next day, that's like, man, you're gonna go somewhere, you're gonna be something. Like, I just sent you to all my friends, blah 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 blah. You know, and granted, they're like 3 sheets to the wind most of the time when they're like that. You know, they're like, oh, can you play our New Year's party this year? And I never hear from them ever again.
Right.
You know,
But hey, man, this has been great. We appreciate you coming on. We'll have to do this again real soon. We have so much
Definitely.
more to ask you and so much more to learn about you that we couldn't even cover in this little segment. But
yeah, I've lived 6 lives. I lived 6 lives, so we got to do 6.
yeah, bro, we want to hear all about that. Until next time, make your favorite bourbon. Get sauced.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.